Hello YouTube, this is Electro Druid. It's been a while, but a few people have asked if I could do a tutorial on how to build the Enderman traps, so this is it. I've started some of the work already. You can see I'm out in the middle of the ocean here. That's good because it minimises the amount of stuff you have to light up to stop things spawning anywhere except the trap. I might have to light up some of those islands on the horizon. I probably have to go down to that platform and light up the caves under the sea, but I'm just going to show you the construction of the trap. This is the floor where everything falls to. I put it at 150 here. It doesn't matter exactly where it goes, so long as it's nicely up in the sky. And then somewhere above this, you have a drop. I've done it 50 above. I think that's a bit higher than you actually need to kill all the mobs. If I remember rightly, it can be it's 23 or 43 blocks high, but I've done 50 for the sake of it. Nice round numbers. So you start with a square, which is a hole, which is 8 blocks along each side on the inside of the hole, and then on each side of that you build a platform, which is 10 blocks wide and 9 blocks deep. The reason for these sizes is it's good for water control, and it's a nice nice amount for powering the redstone that you need. I think if you make it a lot bigger, it'll start to get more complicated. Of a wall, and then 1 block in, I've carved a trench and built a sort of frame over the top. The reason for the trench is that this is where the water is going to come from, and the pistons that hold back the water, they just need to be normal pistons, but you kind of got to get them in from underneath, which is pretty easy when you're flying. You just do it like this. If you're subject to gravity, that can be a little bit more tricky, so you might want to plan for that and have some sort of construction galleries underneath here or whatever you need. But once you put those pistons in, we just drop a bucket of water into each of the 8 spaces, and this is what's going to flood each chamber. Wash out all the ender pearls and all of the other live mobs. We can just check here and see the water's flowing nicely. It doesn't spill over the edge, but it does run all the way up to the edge, which is exactly what we want, so that's good. Now we need to work out how to power those pistons. To turn the water on and off, you just stick a row of blocks along here, and then we put some redstone wire on top of those, like so. And we should be able to test with just a torch that once we put power to there, the water stops, which is nice. So here's another one I made earlier. I'm just going to show how to connect these up. You essentially just continue the path along around the corner and lay down redstone wire. You'll need to stick some repeaters in because the signal runs out after a while. You can see here runs out on the corner. Obviously you can't put a repeater on a corner, so we will put one just before the corner and then continue around. Similarly, we can knock out this torch. Oops. But if we just put wire there, you'll see that it doesn't run all the way to the end, and some of that water keeps on flowing. You can't put any repeaters next to the pistons, so we put one just before this run of pistons. That works pretty nicely. So the idea is that we'll be able to control the pistons in all 4 sections by just controlling power in one point, which is where we'll build the circuit. Next up, you can see I finished a bit of the collar down below, and I've built a room here. It's 5 blocks high. I say collar, I mean chimney. So we're going to stick some sticky pistons on the ceiling and then some stone on top of those. Any non-transparent block will do. It's got to be a solid block to actually suffocate the Enderman. And so now, once we've built these 2 layers in the ceiling, we've got a room that's 3 blocks high, and that when we power it can become 2 blocks high, which is what we use to crush the Enderman to death, which is nice. Obviously, you just stick redstone wire right down across the top of all of the pistons, which is pretty straightforward. And you can see we can stick a torch just about anywhere and show that that brings the room down to 2 height, which crushes the Enderman. So that's pretty nice. I'm just going to go ahead and yeah, here we go, 2 high. Obviously it's not going to kill skeletons and zombies and stuff, but they'll get washed out by the water, so that's good. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and finish all this and then show you the next stage. Here we go. Okay, so I've done all 4 sides as I've shown you. I've lit the whole thing up. I've left the roof open so that we can see what's in here. You can see again the chimney that I've built just to stop light coming in from the bottom, and I've lit out the outside so that nothing spawns on the top of the trap. And I've extended the circuit all the way around 3 sides of the trap to make sure that all of the water pistons are powered from a single point. We've got to do the same for the ceiling pistons. So let's say we're going to stick power here. Okay, so that only powers one side. So what you do is you stick down a couple of blocks, and then you have some redstone wire and a repeater on each corner, like so, and that is going to light up the whole thing. So let's look at how we bring power, turn power on and off in this part of the circuit. So the way that the circuit works in general, it's a sort of a toggling timer circuit that switches on and off, and we take feeds from different points of that circuit to turn the pistons on and off. For that we use an XOR gate. Here's a design that I found on YouTube. I guess I'll try and link that video in the comments, so you can see in a bit more detail how they're built. But it's essentially kind of an X shape, and it's got some bits of wire and some torches. And the idea is that this has 2 inputs in the back, and when those inputs are different, the ceiling pistons will be powered, and when they're the same, they won't be, which turns out to be pretty good, pretty useful for what we need. So let's build the start of that circuit now. We've got that as a point of reference. Start of the circuit looks like a NOT gate. A NOT gate is essentially just a block with torch on one side, with redstone coming in some other side, and that inverts the signal. So this is the start of our circuit. So for the pistons, we need a delay. It needs to be a 20-second delay. The most that one repeater can be is 0.4 seconds, which means that we need 50 repeaters set to maximum to give us our delay. So I'll start putting some repeaters down. You'll probably see that I've miscounted, so I'll extend this out sort of to 25 pistons along, 25 repeaters along each side, with a little bit of redstone wire just to turn around the corner at the end, for a total of 50 repeaters, 20 seconds, and that's going to suffocate the Enderman, which is good. So the next thing we need to do is have a similar timer control. Once the Endermen have suffocated, we need to turn the water on for an amount of time. I found that 10 seconds does the trick. So 10 seconds, you need 25 repeaters for that. So it can be a bit longer if you want, or a bit shorter, but that seems to work for me. And then we build another XOR gate here for a similar thing. When the inputs are different, we're going to get signal out of here. This looks nice and neat next to the other one, although there is the slightly fiddly bit where we've got to get the power from here down to there. So we build a kind of wonky spiral staircase thing that can run some redstone wire down. And then when we get to the bottom, you'll see, because we want the water pistons to mostly be powered so that the water is not flowing, so we need to invert this signal. So we need another NOT gate here, which once I've run the wire down, I'll show you. But again, it's just redstone wire going into one side of the block, a torch on the other side of the block, and that inverts the signal. build one just here. Knock that torch out. And here we go. So there's a block. And there's a torch. And that's all there is to that. And now we need to complete the circuit. And completing the circuit requires... I'm just going to build this right around the edge of here. You need another delay. This final delay is essentially just kind of resting time for the machine, where the ceiling's up, there's no water on, and it gives the monsters time to spawn in there before the crushing and the washing start again. And so now we're coming up to completing the circuit, and we should be able to see the whole thing running. There go the pistons. They're going to stay down for 20 seconds. You can see the delay moving around the timer circuit. I've sped it up a bit there. And the pistons come up and we should get water, but we don't. Okay. Obviously I've missed something out. Let's go and have a look at the circuit. That exhaust gate looks fine. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I haven't actually put the inputs going in there. So just add a bit of redstone. And now we should have a nice complete circuit. That every time it goes round, it's going to put the pistons down for a bit. Lovely. And then the moment the pistons come up, the water should come on. Wait for it. There we go. Lovely. That's working nicely. After 10 seconds of water, anything that was in the trap will have been washed out of the trap. So then the water stops and everything sits quiet. And once we've got a ceiling on here, it will be nice and dark, so that things will spawn, which is pretty cool. One thing that I do add here, I hope it's not too dark to see, just an extra little square of cobblestone around the ceiling, just over the center of the hole. All this does is stops Endermen from accidentally falling out, because you're going to be stood down at the collection area, and you don't want them to fall out. It doesn't matter so much if zombies and skeletons and stuff fall out, because the force is going to kill them anyway. You might also have noticed it's not as dark in there as it should be. If we go up to the top, we'll find out why. I made a mistake. I should have built that ceiling one block higher. Those pistons are considered translucent, so light comes through these. So we just need to wall that off. And that should be good. We'll light this up, because we don't want anything spawning on the roof. And that should be the trap working. I haven't shown how to add a switch to turn the thing on and off. You can figure that out. It's not hard. So this will just run forever, essentially. You can go down. Well, we can have a look inside. Everything's looking nice. It's nice and dark. We've had some stuff spawn here. I'll just get that out of the way. So then you want to just build a little collection point where you stand here, probably not directly under the hole, because stuff tends to fall on you. Let's have a wait and we'll see if anything comes down. Yay, some zombies and skeleton and creeper. Okay, so while we're waiting for the next drop, I'm just going to extend this platform a bit, because obviously things are falling pretty much on the edge of it. I'm going to make this a little bit wider, maybe stick a fence on it. But that essentially is how you build one of these Enderman crushing traps. So they've served me pretty well in the games that I've played. It's always a nice source of ender pearls. In fact, on this drop, the second drop, I think we may just have found some ender pearls. Yay! Okay, that's great. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks a lot.